It's past 99.
Yeah, it's right there in Katy.
Right at the entrance of whatever that is, that big mall area. Yeah. I found it. You talked about it. I was like, I'm going to go try the sushi in my car.
So you drove all the way down.
I haven't had sushi in the longest time.
Oh, okay,
I'm dying for it. Because she's not going to go to a buffet, right? So we're not going anywhere.
That's so
we got it in the car. We bought a little TV tray. Bought the TV tray with us.
Okay, ready?
Yeah, ready to go.
The following program was pre-recorded for broadcast at this time.
The following program is sponsored by Mr. Texas Real Estate. Welcome to the Texas Real Estate Radio Network with Mr. Texas Real Estate Jason Bible and Mr. California Investor Robert Orfino. Join us as Jason and Robert talk about the hottest real estate market in the country, the entire state of Texas. Learn why Texas is such a great market to invest in and why it could be strong for years to come. Get ready to talk all things Texas on your new home on the way to the office. Texas Real Estate Radio.
Welcome back, or welcome to the show. You found the all-you-can-eat sushi place.
In your car.
In your car, yes.
It was awesome.
All you can eat in your car.
Yep.
And it was pretty good, huh?
It was wonderful. It was the most expensive meal I've ever paid for in my car.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Yep. We dropped $100.
Yeah, that's got to be.
Yep. But the sashimi was rock solid. Just really good cuts of fish.
You know, I want to try that because I've got that big bench seat in the back, so it would be like eating
Yours
at a
would be
restaurant.
much better, yes.
Yeah, put the tray right there on the center console and eat. Well, we were going to go to Surfside today.
No.
But it looks like the island.
Surfside is coming to us today.
Surfside is coming to us. It's about, from what I can tell, at Fort Velasco, which is the road that's, and Blue Water, or Blue, whatever they call it, Blue Ocean Drive, whatever it is, right there that runs to the center of it, all appear to be under about 2 feet of water.
Yep.
So, which is expected. That's why the houses are on stilts. And the properties we were supposed to close this week that were not on stilts, we're going to have a little conversation with the seller.
At least one.
At least one.
Yeah.
But, you know, I was watching a lot of videos and stuff from the weekend. And there were a bunch of people that were driving. They're putting fencing up and they're trying to put the dunes back. And then all these, you know, yahoos are driving down there. There's no beach right now.
Right.
Like last weekend, there's no beach. So people are like parking where the dunes used to be. And these homeowners are trying to put the dunes back up so they have a house to come back to at some point. So, you know, a year or two more of this and you and I are going to be beachfront.
We'll be beachfront.
So it's not great down there right now.
Right. Now, I back in the day, thank you, was it Lloyd Bernstein from Senator from Texas?
Yes.
Yes. He helped an oceanfront revitalization program for the Northeast. And it was $1 billion program.
Yeah.
Billions and billions and billions of dollars. But essentially what they did is they take a barge that's about 500 yards offshore, and they pump sand from that ocean site onto the beach.
Yep.
And they extend the beach out, and then they put barriers down to stop the wave impacts. And it was really like $14-15 billion to redo the New Jersey coast, parts of New York, down to Delaware and such. But all of a sudden, 1 year goes by, and now instead of having like 6 to 8 feet of beach, we've got 60 feet of beach.
Yeah.
And there's volleyball tournaments and MTV and ESPN and all this, that investment in that seafront was an amazing thing for the state of New Jersey. State of New Jersey is the third highest industry in New Jersey is tourism.
Oh, interesting.
Because of the beach. And I look at Surfside and I'm like, someone's got to do it because we've already lost so much ground, right? Literally, we were down there after the storm, and there's a house that was just 100% in the Gulf.
Yes.
Like we could not get into the house without wading through water.
Right.
And that was after the tide had receded, right? Receded. So I think it takes something like that.
It's if you look back from pictures of the 60s, you'll see.
Yeah.
It's just, you know, the amount of erosion from the ocean, you know. So we'll see what actually happens. The island has to be there. That's the other thing is
right because of all the oil industry.
Right.
Yeah.
So the intercoastal waterway. Let me put it this way: Surfside ain't going nowhere.
Right.
They have to have it. It's a barrier island for the ship channel right there. So it's not going anywhere. Now it might take a couple more rows of houses before they get serious about it. But yeah, it's completely underwater. We were supposed to go by there today, pick up our residence tags. Figured we had a little bit more time for the storm.
I thought it was coming in tonight. I didn't know.
Yeah, this all started yesterday. I mean, the storm surge came in pretty early, and there was essentially no beach. So today, let's talk a little real estate. Let's talk stocks versus real estate. Rob's new hero, Trevor
Martin,
over at Nikola, is looking for a job right now.
He stepped down, yeah.
Stock suffered a 25% loss overnight.
25% hit pre-trading, so we'll see in a little bit here.
Which we all knew this thing was a total joke. And here comes GM.
So so the new guy who stepped up, who's the new chairman of the board, is a former GM executive.
Of course.
But
the best and brightest in the car industry.
But he was there when that was all happening too. So do we just do a little shuffle the seats around, make it look like someone new's there?
A little kabuki theater.
Yeah. So we've been watching that stock since it was. I remember it at like $16 a share. And it took off all the way up to 50 with the GM announcement, and now it's back down. I think when market opens this morning, it'll be around 24, 25. So the shorts have won today.
Right. The
shorts will cash in big time today.
Yep.
But does that mean it's not going to survive? Whatever. There's a lot to think about. The problem with his concepts is they're all, in my opinion, flawed.
They're all vaporware.
Yeah, we're talking about hydrogen fuel cells, which gets everyone in the oil industry all excited, right? Because, wow, we could just throw our dirty oil in there and make hydrogen out of it, and we're all good. But the reality is there's no infrastructure for oil, for hydrogen fuel cells.
And it's relatively complex.
It's super complex. You're basically driving around with a bomb. The thing is really bad. It's really dangerous.
Kind of. Gasoline is the equivalent of 1 gallon gasoline is equivalent to about 11, what they call 11 sticks of dynamite.
Right.
Gasoline's not safe.
No, not at all.
At all.
In fact, your combustion engine is a series of controlled explosions happening multiple times a second.
Right. Yeah. It's funny when people talk about, oh, Jason, these Teslas catch on fire from time to time. Like, do you not catch all the car fires in your?
See it everywhere.
It seems like I'm driving down 45 or 59 as a car fire every day. So, in fact, that's one of the reasons why I got a cell phone with a camera back in the day, because I'm like, I always thought car fires are so cool. Like, look at that. Just pulled over and the thing caught on fire. My favorite is people always open the hood, but they have no fire extinguisher. So you just let all that oxygen in there to keep it burning. I'm like, yeah, this is great. Watch this. None of them are hot. Very few are Hondas and Toyotas. I'm just throwing that out there.
So for hydrogen fuel cells, right now there are 9 fueling stations in the country. 7 are in California.
Yeah.
So a lot of infrastructure to build.
Mm-hmm.
So not necessarily. The thought of Budweiser and the post office and all these other companies getting into these Nikola trucks and taking them and using them. It's vaporware for at least the next 5 to 7 years.
Well, hydrogen fuel cells were like so 2000.
Yes.
Like hydrogen fuel cells got passed over 20 years ago for a reason. And part of it has to do with just the refueling.
No, it's not
you just
practical.
can't walk in and stick the nozzle into the car.
Yeah. There's the famous scene with Schwarzenegger when he was governor of California trying to jam the thing in, because even the strongest guy in the world is having problems trying to get the thing refueled. You can only imagine what a housewife would do, right?
Yeah, it's a no-go on that technology. I always thought the propane-powered vehicles had some semblance of a chance.
Yeah, sure.
But, look.
Well, back, again, this gets into my world back in the day. And we'll talk a little bit this more when we come back. This is Robert and Jason with Mr. Texas Real Estate. This is the Texas Real Estate Radio Network. If you're looking for us, just give us a text at 281-401-9008. Yeah, they had a OTL roll, which is probably one of the best rolls I've ever had in my life.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, it was all solid. was all really good. It wasn't. I think it was just one step down. Without a doubt, the best sushi I've had in Houston.
No kid.
Yeah. In the car.
In the car.
In the car. A little snack tray.
What was this place called?
I'm gonna. I'll plug you one
It's right at Katy Hills Mall. Katy Mills Mall.
Yeah, it's right there on the exit for 90.
Oh.
90. Oh. Past. And they did the whole thing over text. They were super, super awesome.
Ready when you are.
Yeah.
Welcome back. So the important part of the show here is all this sounds crazy, right?
Yep.
And then you realize, oh, wait, they're using my money.
Billions of dollars into Nikola.
Billions of dollars in Nikola that evaporates overnight.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. 25% of that is gone today.
Mm-hmm.
So, who do you complain to?
I don't know. Maybe you get on Facebook and talk bad about Trevor.
Maybe that's about it, right?
Yeah.
So it's looking at that and just looking at and I know you. I don't want to go too deep into stocks, but the stock market is designed for the industry.
Yes.
That's my opinion. It's designed for brokers. There's I don't see any one of these guys stand up and say, here are the 10 stocks you go long on. Guys, just put your money in here, dividends, blah, blah, blah. These will perform for you for the next 5 years, and in 5 years we'll take. I don't ever see that show.
Yeah, that's a boring show.
Yeah, it's a very, very boring show.
Well, and here's the problem. That show is also not going to make you rich overnight, which is what all those day trading shows claim that they can do.
So I think like the CNBCs and the Jim Cramers of the world, it's all really it's for that industry. It's for the day traders, all that nonsense. And it's just you're watching inside baseball, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're just watching behind the scenes of this stuff. And you, as a person who again, almost everyone listening to us this weekend had a problem with laundry, getting dinner to the table on time, making sure everything was done on time, picking the kids up, dropping the kids off. What's going to happen today, Monday? What happens on Tuesday? I mean, that was the most of your concerns this weekend. Mm-hmm. Right? Unlike not us. I mean, I still got a laundry basket sitting in the laundry room. Like, crap, we didn't finish. Just stuff like that. But so no one, very few of you found a good 3 hours to review a stock. Mm-hmm. And so we wind up just dumping it into whatever the company tells us to dump it into at work, put it into these shares, put it into this mutual fund. And we wind up giving our money to folks who are essentially gambling with it.
So what's funny is what a lot of people don't realize, and this came out when Snapchat went public.
Right.
And I was on the speaking circuit, and I literally would bring up the analyst remarks, and I actually had their pro forma too. And I told everybody, I showed them data. I said, this thing's going to lose money forever. The IPO is going to crater. Like, everyone knew this.
Yep.
And everyone would sit in the audience and laugh, ha, 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 so funny. So, oh, of course I'd never invest in that. And then say, how many guys are invested in NBC Universal? And a couple of people who actually knew what they invested in were like, yeah, I may have a little exposure there. Right. And then I'd say, how many people have any idea what you're invested in at all? Most people don't.
Right, no.
Well, NBC Universal put a truck ton of money in Snapchat.
Sure.
We knew it was a loser right out of the gate.
Yep.
So how many folks who are sitting at home right now who have a GM pension?
Mm-hmm.
Let's be honest. GM didn't buy Nikola. GM's pension bought Nikola.
Well, GM's got a problem too. They're $100 billion in debt.
Yes. For something that's now worth 25% less today.
Right. Because
the CEO we knew that was a charlatan before has finally stepped down.
Yeah.
I mean, you could see it all over you could just see it. You look through the presentations they've got, and everyone's laughing. It's like, this doesn't work.
Between Ford and GM, they have $300 billion in debt.
That's ridiculous.
And remember, that debt never shows on the bottom line. So you can show
a
profit and still be in massive debt.
Yeah, it's as long as you can make the payment on the debt.
As long as you make the payment, yep.
So you look
and that gets buried too in the
right
the gap fund, gap accounting there.
So I find it fascinating when I hear people like, well, Apple did X, Y, and Z this year, or Amazon did X, Y, and Z. I'm like, okay, so what did you invest in?
Right.
Did you really go out and invest? And then so here's how I've always done this. I sit down and look at, let's say I'm working for the man somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And they've got a little 401k program.
Yeah.
I'll invest up to the match because the match is free money.
It's free money.
So invest up to the match. And at that point, the rest of it, I'm going to buy real estate.
Yep.
Put some money in savings. And that's about it. I mean, everyone's looking for this, this magic bullet that's going to make them rich overnight. And I'm like, the only magic bullet, like, this is, if you remember about a year and a half ago, we were playing with Bit Bros. And they were talking about these amazing returns.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, yeah, real estate is better than that.
Right.
The problem is you're just bad at math.
Yes.
And you see a line that goes up and you go, line go up, me make money. And I'm like, well, kind of. What's the risk? Right. Bitcoin is still a piece of junk. Gold is crappy too. I can understand gold as a hedge. Gold is hey, I want to leave.
Sure.
I want to have kind of like a savings account. But when you talk to a lot of even moderate gold guys, they tell you to have 5 to 10% of your net worth in physical. So how many hundreds of pounds are you willing to have underneath your bed? I mean, right. And then they're like, well, no. Yeah, and then they're like.
In Mexico.
Right. And they'll say, oh, no, you don't store it at your house. You store it at the storage facility. Oh, great. So I'm going to store my gold at a gold place where everybody else's gold is at, and I'm going to pay storage fees on top of that.
Uh-huh.
And why is real estate a bad idea again? I'm not. Bitcoin. Okay, so I've got this account which I have to have on an envelope somewhere because if somebody gets a hold of it, they can steal it. So there's no protection there. Or I could do my stocks, but stocks are one guy steps down, it loses 25% of its value.
Right.
Or you invest in a safe company like GM is supposed to be a safe company to invest in, and here they haul off and buy something stupid like Nikola, right? NBC does the same thing with Snapchat. So all of that is impacting your bottom line. So I started looking at the landscape, and I'm like, this is ridiculous. We have abject morons making investment decisions. And they're so stupid.
You're absolutely right. And none of those guys ever pay the price, right?
None of them do.
Yeah, the CEO of Ford, he's like a year away from retiring. And he's making $17 million a year.
Yeah.
He's going to walk away from a company that has $185 billion worth of debt and call himself successful.
Yeah, we did a great job, guys. Thanks. All right. Boom. I'm off to the house at Martha's, zipping down to SoCal to his other crib.
Yeah.
I had this fascinating conversation with my brother yesterday. I'm like, look, dude, you don't understand. Like, you can think all you want about rich guys need to pay this and the moratorium on rent stuff shouldn't be that bad. I said, we're going to be just fine. The middle class is going to get eviscerated. Continue the evisceration from the last 15 years. It's only going to get worse.
I didn't get a chance to talk to your brother much.
Yeah.
He seems a little laid back.
He's very laid back.
And then I was just driving on Saturday I was thinking, and I thought, because you guys look alike.
Yeah.
Even though, if you look alike.
Yeah.
You're definitely there, right? I was thinking, I think Jason and Aaron were like one person, and they split at one point, and then Aaron became like the laid back, cool guy, right?
Yeah.
And Jason became the serious business guy, right?
That's about what it is.
And it's kind of just split right there. And that was my thought on Saturday, and I felt bad because I didn't have a chance to talk to him. So if you're still around, Aaron, if you come back,
he's back up in Seattle. No, that's exactly what it is. We were having dinner one night, and he goes, "I'm not trying to be a billionaire. I just want to sit around and play guitar all day." Like, I know, just want to sit and play guitar all day. I was like, oh, I understand. We went out again Saturday night. Had a great time.
Yeah.
Had a great time. But, it was pretty funny. He's like, yeah, I'm not really all about that life. I'm kind of more of a sit around and play guitar. And I was like, you want to go look at the building? And he was like, I'm sure it's nice. I was like, okay.
Send me the video.
Yeah, he's like, I'm sure it's nice. You want to go see any of this awesome real estate? I don't know.
It's kind of like this, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Same colors.
I know. I took him to the new house, and he was like, I can see buying this. I'm turning into kind of a home improvement guy. I'm like, I'm not doing any home improvement.
Yeah, we're going to be done in about 7 weeks.
Yeah, he was telling me that I just replaced the bath, and I did this. And hey, did you know this and this about laminate floor? I'm like, no, I don't know any of that. Because we got 900 other projects behind it. I can't really kind of sit there and wait to pick out the kitchen tile, that sort of thing. So, yeah, very laid back.
Hey guys, this is Robert and Jason with Mr. Texas Real Estate. This is the Texas Real Estate Radio Network. We'll be back.
Yeah, him and David Durr talk philosophy the whole time.
Oh, I saw those guys chatting away, and I don't know if that was a good thing or a bad thing.
No, they were
bonding
deep philosophical thinkers.
Ready? Yep.
Just had this thought, the day traders and all their nonsense. I'll run into a couple guys who are like, yeah, Jason, I made like 30 grand on Tesla. I made like, $50,000. Yeah, I made $50,000 on this. And I'm like, oh, that sounds great. Hey, Rob and I bought 4 more properties this month and we made 100 grand each on them, plus the cash flow, plus everything. Like, hey, that's great, real estate guy, but you're just not a very good real estate investor. That's what when I saw these guys switching over to Bitcoin, like the real estate gurus that were now going to be bit bros.
Yep.
Unless you were in the active mining business, if you guys are familiar with how Bitcoin and a lot of these coins work, unless you were really doing that and knew that side of the business really well, you weren't making that much money.
10 years ago.
Yeah, that's right. About 10 years ago,
10
right?
years ago,
So I just look at the landscape and I'm like, how did everybody get rich? Now,
I don't think they're rich, dude.
So the Bitcoin guys? No.
No, I think they sell off, half a coin every month or so just to keep the lights on and pay mommy and daddy their rent.
Well, it's funny. That guy from what is it called? It's a sports site. He's now this day trader, and they'll do videos of him getting stuck in margin calls. And this guy's just absolutely getting crushed. I'm trying to remember the name of the website, but anyways, that's always an entertaining one to go in and watch because it's like, yeah, you're the wizard of smart until you're not. But to go back to my point is, I sit there and look at the landscape and go, all right, how did everybody get rich in this country? By owning businesses and real estate.
Right? Or creating something, like a physical thing.
Yeah, it's creating some kind of physical thing,
something.
Which they usually end up with a business or into some sort of real estate venture. So
you're not going to become rich being a guru.
No, you're not going to be rich being a real estate guru.
Grant Cardone was a guru for 15 years before anyone ever heard of him.
That's true.
Right? And only when he starts pumping millions and millions of dollars into Class A real estate does he finally have assets.
Well, and that was the whole point of that debate between him and
Belfort.
Yep. Was Belfort's like, wow, hey, man, he's got such a weird voice.
Yeah.
Nasally.
Long Island guy.
Yeah, he's like, hey, man, you're going to make this, do this.
Jewish mother, Long Island, Italian Jewish mother, Long Island guy.
Yeah, so, and then he'd sit there and say all this crazy stuff, and then Grant would say, well, I don't know, how do you not get rich buying $1 billion in real estate?
Right.
And that's when it gets real quiet. It's like, yeah, you can dog on the sales training and the sales techniques and all that, but it's like at the end of the day, if that's all you're doing, if you're just, and I think he actually said it, I was never a one-trick pony.
Right.
Like he had one method that worked really well that helped him through the automotive business. Then he gets into real estate. He still has the sales training programs, right?
Sure. Cardone Academy, whatever it is.
And all the while just using that same technique to raise money for his real estate ventures. Yep. That's what's going to make him filthy rich. It's not selling, a GM or a, Joe's Cadillac on a $100,000 sales training program. It's the real estate. So when I watch all this stuff and I'm like, you guys ain't getting it.
Nope.
Yeah, go and invest in this piece of stock and that's fine. Go do it. But I don't know. And I will tell you this, Warren Buffett did not get rich buying and selling stocks.
No.
He is not a stock market guy. A lot of this ruffles a lot of people's feathers, but it's true. He buys controlling interest in companies.
Yep.
He does that through the equity markets.
And turns them around. That's
all he's doing. He is not a stock market guy.
Right.
Really not. Neither was Ben Graham wasn't either.
But the same thought process that across investing.
Yes.
Buy low, fix it up, sell high.
So what Warren Buffett does is he buys it at book value, meaning if you were to liquidate all the assets, that's what the company's worth.
Yep.
So Rob and I do the exact same thing. We buy in a lot of these neighborhoods, we're buying slightly above lot value that has a house. Or we're buying it somewhere between 60 and 70% of replacement cost.
Yep, that's a good matrix to use too. That happens. Yep.
So if you're buying 1,000 square foot house for $70,000, and we got to put, I don't know, $20 a square foot in,
Sure.
we're at $90 a foot plus land, and replacement cost is at least $100 plus the cost of land. You're ahead.
Right.
You're just naturally ahead.
Right. Most of the stuff that we buy, you couldn't build.
There's no way. We're buying it less than it costs to build.
Yeah, you can't build. But that market's going away.
That market's going away fast, right? Yeah.
Really fast.
So buy now, right?
Buy now, yeah. We showed something on Friday's update, right? The Corpus market is up 17% year over year.
Yeah, if you guys missed, I got to see if the email went out last night. I don't think it did. But if you guys missed our Friday update, you know, I didn't go out. It didn't end up on YouTube. I went looking for A-Rock, and A-Rock had disappeared on me on Friday. So in any case, we'll have it uploaded to YouTube, but it's definitely on our Facebook page. We pulled up the submarket. One of the submarkets we're in is Corpus Christi.
Yep.
Up. Nueces County was up 20% year over year.
Nueces County was up 20%, which means what else is in our nation? Like, so Port Aransas must be running 22, 23% year over year. Thank God.
Well, part of that has to do with it was Hurricane Ike. It was down for a year and a half, and
Harvey,
now it's popping back up. Or Harvey, Harvey
took out Rockport and was right there. I mean, it was just everything was devastated. And I bought that condo, man. That 3-bed. It's still not fixed.
Yeah,
but I bought it for $150. I can't imagine it being less than $400,000 at this point.
Yeah,
I got to put maybe $15,000 in.
Mm-hmm. Well, look at the beach house we bought down in Nueces County. It was what did we into that thing for? Three
something. Yep.
350.
No, less than that.
So I want to say when we bought it, it was worth $425. It
was worth $465.
$465.
Mm-hmm.
So $465 appreciated 20% for 2 years. You guys do the math on that.
We're close to $600,000.
So it made $200,000 in 2 years.
Yeah,
close to it.
We close to doubling our money in 2 years.
Which is insane.
Yep,
absolutely insane. But then I hear people say like, "Oh yeah, man, I should have bought this stock, should have bought that." No, you should have bought the house next door to yours.
You should have bought the house right next door.
If you could rent it and it cash flows, you should have bought the house next door. This is so ridiculously easy. I just don't understand this is the thing that frustrates me the most. I'm like, all you got to do is look at the numbers. Like, it's really that simple. Well, Jason, I don't understand. How did the house appreciate 20% a year? Well, next year it could lose 20% of value. Why don't you just go look at 40 years worth of data and tell me if that's ever happened?
So I think in our world, and we're sort of moving up the food chain a little bit, not to boast anything, but I think there's a world out there, in our world at entry point, there's a magic number of 12. Like, everyone's looking for 12% returns.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So, if they lend and they charge 12%, therefore I must make 12%, right?
Yeah.
And even the private lenders are looking for 12%. And I'm like, man, if we just keep compounding 7%.
Yes.
Right? We double our money. Rule of 7, right?
Yeah.
And so you're sitting there and you're like, why do we need 12? And then so people are passing over deals at 7 and 8%, which just blows my mind.
Let's talk about, what do you mean by 7 and 8%? Because you and I just talked about a deal that's 20% a year. So what do you mean by 7 and 8%?
In marketplaces that we're only appreciating 6%.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Right? Buy it, hold it, cash on cash is all good, and the appreciation is 6%.
Okay.
When we do real estate, there's really only 2 ways to make money. It's either cash flow or the appreciation, right? Mm-hmm. There's a thing called depreciation. Don't worry about that. It's not all that important. And we should really not be taking any depreciation over the next 5 years.
Yeah.
Because we're going to sell them. Mm-hmm. So we don't want to have to go and pay back that rebate, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's it. And so we try and find properties that make a 15% cash on cash return and have about 20% equity.
Mm-hmm.
That is our target. Sometimes a little low, sometimes it's better, But that's our target. And we teach everyone in the mastermind 15% cash on cash and 20% equity in the property. And we're going to talk to you about how we find that and what that means for you when we come back from this break. Community.
Jason and I will answer that when we get back from break. If we're building small apartments.
Last segment, you ready?
Yep.
Okay. Question here on Facebook from Jason. He said, hey, are you guys going to get into the building of small apartment space? And the answer to that is yes. We formed a subgroup in our mastermind for ground up for small apartments. And that group, you had your first meeting, was that last week or the week before?
Yeah, last week.
Last week. So we had the first meeting last week, and we're moving forward, as Rob would say, on that sort of stuff. So it's one of the reasons we're looking for a good land person. Somebody can help us find some land.
Yeah, for our EXP group, Club 45. We really need someone really good with land, knows how to work the marketplace, bring us in. And again, the marketplace is almost telling us to build these.
Yeah, it's getting to the point where
almost there.
Yeah.
So we're just trying to get ahead of it a little bit, and then make sure that we have the banking relationship set up.
Yes.
That's the big one. But we just got one of our properties finally approved from the airport commission.
Yes.
Oh my God, what a nightmare that was.
Learning a lot of lessons. Evidently, you just can't build something if you're close to.
Well, what I learned and what I'm understanding, and I could be wrong, is that Houston changed the codes.
Oh.
Anything more than 2 units now
Wait,
is
it's not
considered
3?
No, 3 is multifamily.
Mm.
And so there might be some discrepancy in how they're reading the code, but our project manager came back and said, yeah, they're saying this is multifamily and you need fire suppression. I'm like, what?
Oh.
So we sat down with the architect, and he went through it all, and he just said, yeah, but you can. It's really simple because there's a common wall, so we just do it on both sides of the common wall, maybe $6,000 to $8,000. Like, okay, we'll do whatever we have to do.
Okay.
Because the rent now rent's going to be $1,600 a unit up there.
Really?
Yeah, so we're fine. We're like, this is easy. And I'm going to make one an Airbnb. It's just like, this is
$1,600 a unit. I think we're going to build 8 units. And how many are there?
At some point, we can build 8 units. The way we're bringing in the electric and the way we're running the suppression system to the hydrants, probably smart, so we can tap in off of that.
Yeah. Well, how many units do we have there now?
We're in for $320 on 40 units.
So $320 on 4 units.
Yeah.
At $1,600 a month per.
So on the 3, we'll do $1,600. Mm-hmm. Yep. $4,800, and then the Airbnb, maybe $3,000.
So we're looking at $7,800 for 320. Say $350,000 in rehab.
2% rule.
Which is crazy.
Yep.
And then we can build 8 more units at, what do you think, 90 a foot?
Yeah, probably. I think the wood thing is resolving itself, and prices are going to start coming back down.
Oh, I agree with that.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Even for 100 a foot, who cares, right?
Yeah, 100 a foot each unit.
3 bedroom, 2 baths, no formal dining room, just big open and common area.
So you're probably $75,000 a door. For 8 units at $1,600 a month. I mean, you don't have to sit down and do the math. Like I can tell you right now, if you're at $75,000 a door, and
we'll definitely be under 160,000. We'll be probably around 110. Yep.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. So the idea that, I just like I said, I don't understand the stock thing. I read the financial news as much as your stockbroker, if not more. Or as your analyst. I read this stuff constantly. And I can sit there and read through the company's news or the industry's news or their 10Ks, 8Qs, all that stuff. And I read through it and I'm like, oh, this is going to be a disaster. So is this one. So is this one. The only thing that's propping up the stock market is this churn. It's the churn of baby boomers are passing assets in typically, that's a stock portfolio to the next generation. And not necessarily millennials, but certainly Gen X are now pouring massive amount of money into the stock. But that's what's propping the whole thing up.
Yep.
Don't get me wrong. I love Tesla. Even Tesla's valuation doesn't make any sense.
No, none at all.
At all.
No. I just right time, right place.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it makes sense. It's a great place to be because now it's the hot, sexy stock, right? How high was Amazon?
I made $20,000 in my Roth IRA in 4 months.
It's great.
Yeah.
So go back and look at Amazon's a great example. What was Amazon stock when it finally produced $1 worth of profit? I mean, it wasn't until 5 or 7 years ago that Amazon actually made a profit.
Right. So your company, we're the same thing. We're in growth mode.
Right.
Right. We're just buying assets, rehabbing them, stabilizing, repeat, all the way up to a number that we've picked. Right. And so along that way, none of it looks good for you and I.
No.
You guys look at these guys are leveraged. They're not making any money on this stuff. It's like, we get it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But we also understand on the other side, there's about 25 to 30% equity now in our properties. And by the time we're done, there'll be 50% equity. That's the plan.
Yeah. So
our leverage is going to be 50% and 50% equity. Sell the entire portfolio, keep the other half.
Yeah.
Right? Everyone should be doing the same exact thing.
This is not hard.
And it does, but you don't have to be buying 1,000 doors, right? Go get 10, 20, sell 10 to pay for the other 10, free and clear, you're good to go. And again, too many times in our mastermind, even in our mastermind, folks are jumping way ahead. I want to do small apartments. Get your doors, man. Just get your doors, right?
Well, here's the way I like to put it. Like, hey, let's look for small apartments.
Right.
I mean, although I say this, I'm like, I just don't open up my laptop and buy one. Actually, that's kind of how it works a lot of times. But it's like, look, let's go find a couple little duplexes, a couple little quads.
Yep.
Maybe a single family house here or two. Let's buy those while we're looking for the other stuff.
And I think it comes down to, it is a lot easier to sit down with HR for 15 minutes and pick, do you want to be aggressive, moderately aggressive, moderately conservative, or conservative? Just pick the one that you want.
Right.
Right? Have you had that conversation?
Yes, yeah.
Everyone, right. That's it. You're giving no choice. Here are these 4, and you have no idea what the hell, who the manager is, any of that stuff. You just go into HR, you circle it. I'm going to match up to the match because that's what people told me to do. And then you're 10, 15 years later, you realize, I've got nothing here.
Yeah.
I've got nothing because you couldn't finish the laundry this weekend. You had a rough time getting the HEB was packed because of the storm. You got to run in, fill up your gas, got to make sure honey, remember the leak in the roof from last storm? You've got all these crazy things. Gyms, all this kid stuff got canceled this weekend. You don't know what's going on in school today, and you simply don't have time to sit down and buy a 4-plex or a 2-plex. Right? So, without going too much into plugging the mastermind, that's what we're doing. We're just pulling people out of that craziness every so often saying, okay, Don, sit down, time to buy another property.
Yeah. What are we buying today?
And I think the extra effort is going to pay off in spades.
Yeah, I mean, I look at the portfolio that our folks, our mastermind, are building, and it's like it's fantastic. It's great.
Yep.
Buy it, rehab it, rent it out, sit on it, go do it again. When things kind of sort of, after you get done, you get that last 10 in there, you're like, whew, okay. Take a week or two.
Yeah.
And go, okay, we're gonna go buy another one. Let's go send Jason a text message and say, all right, man, I'm ready for the next one.
You got you for the next 6 weeks, starting next Monday. I think we're going to move it to after 6 because some people are working legitimately.
Okay.
But you might like 7 o'clock at night if you don't mind.
Yeah.
If you're in the mastermind, right now we're in stabilization mode. We're doing tons of refis. So we've got a lot of work going. We're still picking up something pretty sexy this week.
Ooh,
but
can't wait to see that.
But Jason now has some time to sit down and work with the mastermind folks to go out into the marketplace, identify properties that fit that 15-20, and start picking it up. And if you're in the mastermind, you're welcome to come into that Monday night session and sit there with Jason and go through. Now, we're going to make sure you're pre-qualified. So you're going to go through our folks who work with our lenders, get all your documents lined up, make sure you sign up with an EXP agent, and get all that stuff going. But For the next 6 weeks, we're going to go on a little hunt for properties, and you can work directly with Jason. If you're not in the mastermind, give us a text, 281-401-9008. Hey, thanks for listening. We'll be back with a short break, and then we're done for the night. Storm screwed me here.
It's going to screw the whole week up, which I don't understand why. I'm like, we're already working from home.
No, but I had to run down. I was going to have you stop at a couple locations, get some draws. I have to do it tomorrow, but tomorrow's battery day, and I want the live stream battery day.
What time is it? It's going to be at night, right?
It runs in the afternoon, I believe. It'll start night here for us, yeah. Let's see what time.
Oh, we have Model Y to test drive tomorrow.
Shit.
Tesla sent me an email. We're going to go test drive a new Model Y.
See how it goes through floodwaters?
Yeah, we're going to test the floodwater version. The Model Y. I like it. Go take it for a spin. And then if we got time, we'll take an S for a spin too.
$4:30 p.m. Eastern. Oh, it's after the close of the day, of course.
Oh, yeah. Oh, because the market will go bananas.
Yeah. Oh, let's see what Nicola's up to.
See how great it is for Nicola right now. Hey, Brian, I saw your little post about RGB. Pretty funny. And I will be using it publicly. It's great. What do I need to do here?
Hey, what's the confusion?
So I broke my screen. I don't know if you guys can see this, but I am waiting. You probably can't really. There you go. You can probably see that there.
We're still here.
Yeah, we're still on. Oh, are we supposed to be off?
No, we're doing another show, right?
Yeah, that's what I figured. So I broke. Yeah, we're ready to go. So I broke the screen, and I refused to get it fixed because the new phones are coming out in October. So I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to fix it. I'm just going to hold out.
What's the new one?
The 12.
12.
The 12.
Is it going to be bigger, thinner?
It's going to be the one of them is going to be the biggest iPhone ever made. It's going to be like taking this. This is the cover for my laptop. It's going to be like talking on like, hey, what's going on?
Get the boom box on the shoulder.
So it was always funny. My foreign business partner, is a pretty small guy. He would always get the biggest note. So it literally would look like this when he's talking on the phone.
All right, here we go.
The following program was
Like a
pre-recorded
tablet
for
for your
broadcast
face.
at this time.
They're supposed to be making a
Program
small
is
one too.
sponsored by
So
Mr. Texas Real Estate.
Yeah, I'm due. Verizon's hammering me. Get new equipment. Get new equipment. Or at least
Welcome
just
to the
went
Texas
down.
Real Estate Radio
Paid it
Network
off
with
and
Mr.
billed
Texas Real
50
Estate
bucks
Jason
cheaper.
Bible and Mr. California investor Robert Orfino. Join us as Jason
new
and Robert talk
Samsung
about the
with
hottest real estate
512
market in the
gigabyte
country, the
hard
entire
drive.
state of Texas.
Not
Learn why
available.
Texas is such a great
Only the
market to
128.
invest
I
in
guess I
and
could
why
load
it
it.
could be strong for years to
Terabyte,
come.
but
put your
Get
little
ready
card
to
on
talk
there.
all things Texas
The way the
on your new
Samsung
home
works,
on
I got to
Wednesday.
manually set it up
Texas
to
Real
move
Estate
stuff over.
Radio.
that sucks.
Pain in the ass.
all right. So battery day
If you're listening now, battery day is over.
is over, but we're recording this before battery
The day
day.
before, so we're going to make some guesses.
I want to see the new colors.
New colors. Yes.
New colors for Teslas.
Yeah.
And you know, Elon's going to throw one crazy neon green, orange, purple something, and then I'm going to
Sure.
say, I want that one.
Sure.
I want the ugly one. I would love, mountain bikes from the 90s. So I started racing mountain bikes it would have been the early 90s. And they had the coolest paint jobs back then. It was neon with like a splatter on it.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was, somebody needs to make a car like that. Maybe we can get a wrap.
What is that color called? Remember the, there's a certain, my buddy, Baja guy. Jeez.
Is it like a neon green?
The dune buggies, remember?
Yeah, the Minx.
Yes.
Volkswagen built dune buggies are pretty cool. They're getting really expensive. It always shocks me whenever I watch the car stuff. I'm starting to realize that we as Americans have a lot of money. When people are paying
so good here.
$15,000 for a old Minx, I'm like, I don't get it. For a car that's semi-street legal. Did you find it?
Yeah, the Myers Max dune buggy. It had all those crazy colors on it, remember?
Yeah, you could order the fiberglass body.
Flaked. That was it.
Yeah, the flakes.
They had the little flakes in there. Very good. Nice.
Little metallic.
Yeah.
I've been shopping, my brother and I have been going back and forth on guitars, and so I've been shopping guitars. We went out to Guitar Centers Saturday. Oh, yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, with the metal flake in it.
Metal flake in there, yeah.
So we've been shopping guitars now for a couple of weeks, and then we was in town. Saturday, we were at Guitar Center for like 4 or 5 hours just playing a bunch of different stuff. I'm learning. Let me put that
fun.
So it's one of those things. It's one of those like bucket list things I've always wanted to do. I've always wanted to be able to do DJ stuff. I've always wanted to be able to play the electric guitar. So I think I'm finally just going to make the plunge and buy one. But anyway, so he's been playing for years. So he's showing me all the different stuff. And, hey, what's great is when you work with someone, even if it's just a hobby, that is passionate about it and they do it in a long time, they'll say things like, look, skip all this crap.
Right.
Because you're going to spend all this money doing this, doing that, doing that.
Yep.
You don't need any of that.
Yep.
Here's and one of the things that's great about YouTube is you can get to that. So like, if you guys we're going to go into a little electric guitar deal here.
Sure.
Electric, obviously, I shouldn't say obviously. Buying electric guitar is orders of magnitude more complicated than buying an acoustic.
Yes.
Like, don't get me wrong, the wood's important. Obviously,
absolutely.
There's some certain features of it, but there's only so much there for an acoustic, right? Mm-hmm. It's a box with a hole and some strings on it.
Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong, it can get more complicated than that.
It can get very complicated, yeah.
Take all of that complication of an acoustic guitar.
Sure.
Because I didn't know. Here's one that I didn't know, Rob. The type of wood you build an electric guitar out of does make a difference.
Yeah.
I was like, "Are you serious?" I said, "Yeah." The wood in the fretboard. So take all of the complications of an acoustic guitar and add all the electric stuff to it, and it just gets crazy fast.
Well, I'll go one better.
Okay.
Like the Fender Strat. Back in the day, there was the American made, the Japanese made, or the Mexican made.
Yes.
Right? And you wanted the Japanese made Strat because they were a better guitar. Right? And the American had a different sound on it, right? So
I'm going to end up with a Strat, and it is going to be an American Strat.
There you go.
So the times have changed.
Nice.
So in any case, but we would literally sit there and play the Mexican one next to the American one.
Yep.
And you know what? The sound is almost exactly the same.
Almost.
But the feel of the guitar, how it's constructed, very different.
I'm a big fan of the old Rickenbackers.
Okay.
But they're a horrible guitar. Always out of tune. They're so bad. So I have my acoustic in my home office. I play from time to time. I hear a song, I'm like, I think I can play that song.
I'm gonna go
online, figure out what the chord tab is. Hey, I can play it.
So in any case, I guess we got to get back to Teslas. So we're looking at all these guitars, and they all have these beautiful paint jobs like
we went. So here's just what happened. Just recap. We got off track on Tesla.
Yes.
Into guitars.
Yep.
On our real estate show.
That's right.
Right. So we went from real estate to Tesla to guitars.
The best real estate show on the planet. And then we're going to talk about eating sushi in the back of your car.
Oh, it's amazing. Yes.
I now want to go try that place.
It is so good. And let me give you the name of it.
Yeah, pull the sushi. So a couple of weeks ago, I was out. We were going to have dinner, sushi place. I was really feeling sushi one night, and the place we went to was closed. They would do all you can eat in your car, and she was like, "We're not doing that." I was like, "That's fine." So then we found another good sushi place down the street, and we stayed there. It was fantastic. Mm-hmm. So I was telling Rob about this all you can eat sushi place in your car, and he's like, "I got to go." So we went this weekend.
Yeah, I went yesterday in the rain.
He texted me this picture of the sushi in the car, and I'm like, I don't I don't understand what's he saying. I was like, okay, looks good, man. I was like, I wasn't following along.
So I don't know how to pronounce it. Taizi?
How do you spell it? It's maybe Taizi?
Taizi?
Taizzi. There's Katie.
Taizi?
Taizzi.
Yeah. It's right on Katy Mills Boulevard.
Yeah, so it's right there at the mall and I-10.
Yep.
But the other place we went to was right on the other side of the mall. It was great.
Yep.
It was a Spanish fusion. We got plantain rolls.
Nice. I had the roll there is called an OTL.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
It was really good. It was a little spicy. I didn't eat the jalapenos, but it was enough heat on top of the roll. Pulled them off. It's fantastic. But the sashimi was amazing. Really good. I have not had good albacore out here ever.
Yeah.
And this albacore was great.
Really?
It was really good. I'm not a big fan of the salmon, but my wife liked the salmon. I love the tuna. Yeah, the sashimi blew me out of the water. I was like, oh my God, this is really good.
Mm-hmm.
And they actually had a dessert menu that had more than just green tea ice cream on it, which is always nice at a Japanese restaurant.
But that's the staple, though.
Yes, it
With
is
or
a
without
staple.
nuts.
No, yeah. So we did that, and I would tell everyone to go out and try it. It's about $100 for 2 people. You can smuggle your own booze in the car if you want.
Ooh,
I guess
drink it in the car.
Put a little wine in there, yeah. And we had to bring out a little TV tray,
Yeah.
so we could eat our sushi and mix our wasabi and our soy sauce. Yeah, it was really, really good.
You know what we should do? So tomorrow we're test driving Teslas. Again,
Yes.
we're test driving the Model Y. We're probably going to drive an S if they've got the availability, but we're going to go whip around town in a Y.
Yeah.
And
Right before battery day. It's awesome.
yeah, before battery day,
Yeah.
we're going to test all these things out. So let's go back to what we were talking. You know what I'd like to do? I can't wait till we get our Teslas because then we're going to do all these videos eating all you can eat sushi in the back seat of a Model Y. Like that's what we're going to do.
There's a lot of room.
There's plenty of room back there.
Nice.
So, or I guess we could get an X. An X would be perfect for eating sushi in the back seat
Yeah,
because
possibly.
it's got a lot of room in it.
Yeah.
Right?
Keep the gull wing open.
Yeah, keep the doors open. Everyone's sitting there like, "What are you guys doing?" Like, we're
Eat sushi in a Tesla.
date night. We're eating sushi in the back of a Tesla.
What's
Like,
wrong
what?
with you?
What? Yeah. What? You don't do this. Why don't you do back of the seat of the F-150? I mean, it's great. Why?
Hey
Why
guys,
you
this is
like
Robert
crazy?
Jason here with Mr. Texas Real Estate. This is the Texas Real Estate Radio Network. If you need to reach out to us, text us at 281-401-9008.
Yeah, I had no idea how complex. Different amps, different tonalities.
Oh,
It's
for sure.
It's bananas.
Yeah.
So then, I'm the guy that likes to figure out what the little hacks are. Evidently, they're now making these micro amps.
Mm-hmm.
So Black Star makes one. It's literally this big. You can run them off of AA batteries.
Yeah.
And they sound
Yeah.
phenomenal. And so I'm watching all these reviews, and this one
I have a
guy.
micro amp in my
Do you?
office.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little tiny one. Yeah.
So he says, you know what this amp is really used for? And he said, I like to call it the couch amp.
Yep.
So literally, it's like you lay it on the couch playing,
Yeah.
and just plug it in,
Plug
just put
it
it right there on the coffee table.
Yeah.
It's like it's the couch amp.
Yeah, but then you plug anything into a box that replicates any tube amp,
Yeah.
any sound, any
Oh,
this,
yeah.
any of that. Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I will tell you this. I've got a tube amp in my living room. I've got a hybrid. It's a hybrid tube amp, and that's what my home stereo is. And I can't absolutely tell a difference, but 99% of people that come in there are not going to be able to tell. In fact, my brother walked in. He goes, "Wow, what are you playing this through?" And he looked. He goes, "Is that a tube amp?" I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "Man, it sounds great." 99% of people aren't going to tell a difference if you're plugging it into, like you said, a box that simulates those sounds, or you actually have a
Yep.
$1 setup.
Okay, let's do it.
We'll say this: that Fender Reverb amp was pretty nice. You're playing the bluesy stuff. It was fantastic.
I love me some surf guitar.
I will be learning a little surf guitar.
Sure.
Texas blues definitely and then probably a little 90s, maybe a little metal.
Actually, speaking of guitars, I watched the documentary on the Go-Go's. Very interesting.
They've got a documentary?
They do. Yep.
So I watched, speaking of documentaries, I finally watched it last night. The Social, whatever it was, Dilemma?
Social Dilemma, yeah.
The Social Dilemma.
Disturbing, right?
All right, so let's see how well you know me, because I'm going to ask Rob this tomorrow.
Sure.
What do you think I was thinking about the entire time I was watching that show?
I don't know. That's broad.
The only thought I had the entire time was, how do
I get in through all that?
That's exactly what I was thinking the entire time. How do I get my nose under this tent?
The same way. How do I get my feed there?
Well, they said it at the end. So if you guys follow my Facebook, politically, I've posted the negative news for both sides of the aisle.
Oh, yeah.
And they both run rampant.
Oh, they get the most hits, yeah.
In fact, people are still commenting on something I posted Friday.
Absolutely. Sitting here telling people how to make 5 to 6% on their money.
Boring.
Actually,
not even
no
5
views. No, they don't put it out on the
It's not even 5 to 6%. It's like 50% in 2 years, right?
Yeah.
Nobody cares.
Nobody
And
cares.
then I'll post something like some meme that says like
Orange Man bad.
Orange Man bad or Orange Man.
Ah!
Yeah, and then it's like, and then it's like Orange Man bad or Sleepy Joe, and then it just Facebook explodes.
Yeah.
And then I'll post like, hey guys, we just bought another beach house. We're having a really good time. Or I'll post today, my oldest is being inducted to Junior Honor Society.
Nice.
I'll post that today. There'll be like 10 likes and like 6 comments.
It
And then
wasn't good enough to get into the regular honor society?
yeah, well, he's Junior. I think it's because I think Junior means you haven't broken 5'5" yet. So you got to be at least 5'5" to be able to get it.
I figured in high school I probably would have qualified for the Junior Honor Society.
Yeah.
I didn't quite make it there.
So I don't know. The ceremony's today on Zoom, so you just stand there and Zoom.
Well, I have an idea.
Okay, what's that?
For a show.
All right.
And a YouTube video.
Okay.
We need to determine which candidate is going to be better for real estate investors and real estate holdings.
Oh, yeah.
Moving forward. But here's the deal. We're going to do opposition research. So you're going to be pro-Biden,
okay,
and I'm going to be pro-Trump.
Okay. And
we come in on Wednesday. We're going to have our pros and our cons.
I like it.
Okay?
I like it.
So try and be as objective as possible. And on Wednesday, we'll have our show. I
already know the answer to this because my brother and I talked about it, and there's going to be a lot of people unhappy on Facebook. Okay. I can tell you exactly who would actually be better for. Well, I haven't done all my research, but I've done a fair enough of it to say, and I've actually had this conversation with a couple of folks too, and I'm like, hey, just so you know, you would make more money on X.
Yep.
So, all right, we will talk about that on Wednesday.
So Wednesday, we have to do our research, and maybe we'll do that on the update as well.
Yeah. If Joe will stay awake long enough. Oh, speaking of which, Battery Day is tomorrow. Well, technically it's Tuesday.
Technically, if you're listening on the radio, it's already passed.
It's already passed. But Battery Day is Tuesday. The first debate is next week.
Really?
It's the 29th or something. Brian, if you're still watching, I think we're going to have a party for it.
I got to tell you, I'm going to tell you who won the debate. Biden.
Yeah,
because his expectations are so low at this point.
Yes.
He just has to stay awake, man.
You are absolutely right.
That is it. So you guys have laid all the Sleepy Joe out there. He just has to stay awake. He get off stage and said, "Hey, I didn't even have to take a pee break."
Yeah. They're gonna juice Joe with so much vitamin
B. Remember the B12 shots?
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Greg, you remember that? Come on, everyone around sticking B in their ass in the 70s.
Yeah, that's. I'm sorry, Mr. Clements. That's B12, right? Yeah, that's why I'm the size of a small house.
Yeah,
because it's a B12 shot.
Didn't the pharmaceutical fortune guy, didn't he kill his wife? His defense was, I thought it was a B12. It wasn't an insulin overdose.
Oh, that's funny. We gotta look.
12 something.
That's hilarious.
Anyway, B12s. B12s are all the rage.
So they're going to be. You're absolutely right. If you look at W was the same way, and so was.
Oh yeah, W.
So was Trump, because they were like, oh my gosh, they're going to get obliterated that night. And
I'll tell you, I watched Trump on the ABC town hall.
Yeah,
he did very well.
Yeah, he's getting better. Huh?
You're like, God, can you just always be this way? I would have no problem. I mean, I'm a voter without a home at this point.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm looking at him and I'm like, God, if you could just always be this way. I would like to believe that you're this way in meetings.
Yes.
Not the Twitter guy.
Yeah.
Because the problem is, I think like he's managing the company as he
As
is
the Twitter
managing
guy.
his Twitter account.
I don't think
It
that's
scares
the
the
case.
hell out of me.
Do you remember that it was a leaked audio when he met with, was it the New York Times? And they leaked the meeting? I think that's how he is most of the time.
Yeah.
I think he's that guy. Watch the next morning. We were out Saturday night. Oh, you came out with us for a little bit. Was that
Yep.
Friday? It was
Friday night.
When did RGB pass? It was Friday night.
Yeah.
So we were out Friday night. We were going to the next bar. I saw it come across on my news, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this election's just about to get even crazier. So the next morning, we're watching TV, and they caught Trump going to Air Force One immediately from the rally. I'm amazed nobody had told him.
Right.
Like, he literally got off stage, was walking to the Air Force One, which, of course, they always have the press corps right there.
Hey,
Hey, Mr. President, hey, what do you think about RGB? And you could tell, like, the look on his face, he's like, wow, this is the first I'm hearing of it. And he had this really genuine response, like, it's horrible. She was a pioneer, all this other stuff. And hey, I'll let, and then, of course, they were like, when are you going to announce a successor? He's like, hey, look, let's.
Yeah.
I just heard about this.
By the time he landed, though, he was like, next week.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's like,
he landed. He's like, next week we're going to do this.
Here's who I think
Twittering the people right now.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So, in any case, I think that's how he is most of the time. It's just this stuff that's in front of the cameras is always kind of an excrement show. But I do believe, after thinking about the whole Joe Rogan thing, I think if Biden does not agree, he still goes to Rogan.
Maybe.
Because I bet Rogan wants that interview.
I would love to see Rogan do
I
that.
would love
A
for
long
like
interview
4
with the
hours.
president, that'd be amazing.
It would be incredible.
Yes.
They'll
have to record it in advance.
Yeah.
Otherwise, terrorists would know when to attack. Right?
Just sure.
Yeah, because the president's in the bunker in Austin.
Yeah. Well, heck, you never know. He may be recording it right now, right?
Possibly. So Joe did wind up in Austin.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Which I've not watched anything. You said you watched a couple from the new studio.
Yeah, I don't like the studio.
Do you know where his place is at?
Nope. I would guess west of Austin, somewhere in the hills.
Yeah.
Yes.
If anybody knows where Joe landed, I'd love to know what side of Austin he's at. My guess it would be somewhere where he's kind of hill country-ish.
That's what I believe, yeah.
Because he and his family are not going to buy the 10,000 square foot mansion that's, an acre.
Nope. He could rent a ranch out here too and just go hunting all day long, right?
Yeah. I imagine he's got more invites for hunting than he knows what to do with, right?
I bet. Anyway, on Ruth Bader Ginsburg, it was nice to see, and that's, God, the media sucks. Did you know that her and Scalia were longtime friends?
Yes.
And they had dinner all the time, and their families grew up together.
Yeah.
And what Justice Thomas wrote about her was just, amazing. And you're going to have a packed court now on the right. Well, you're going to have everyone's saying 6-3. I'm like, it's 5-4 because Roberts really is a conservative.
He's not. No.
He's a. And then when you really look at it,
Kavanaugh hasn't exactly been crushing it with conservative rulings lately either.
No, they're all sort of northeast Republicans,
right? Yes.
Right, like Aaliyah is a Jersey guy.
Yeah.
Right. I was like, I know he ain't voting for this stuff, right? He's fine there. So you have an interesting mix, but it'll be interesting to see. I mean, all the snowflakes went crazy.
Oh yeah,
it was absolutely nutty. So
I was getting texts that night and like 6 a.m, like snowflake alert. Like people just texted me.
Yeah.
Like if you think this is crazy now, just wait. I'm like, oh, this is going to be. Tim Pool's gone nuts, by the way.
He is. Hey guys, we'll be right back. Yeah, it's a shame that. Well, I mean that's the movie, right? Media is no different than Facebook. Mm-hmm. The controversial stuff them versus us plays, right?
One of the best quotes in that movie was from that purple-haired PhD mathematics chick when she said, "There is." I'm trying to remember the exact word she used, but there's no. I'll use my word because I can't remember hers. There's no alternative better than a click, and the incentive is you got to get the clicks because that's what drives revenue, right?
Right.
See that new show Fox is coming out with the puppets with Orange Man and Biden.
No.
This is the commercial. Yeah, it's starting in October.
Oh, that's funny.
Ready?
Yeah. Yeah, Rob, I agree with you. The Biden quote wins the debates if he can simply stay upright for a couple of hours. Because you're right, the expectation's so low. I watched his, you see Trump get kind of ambushed from, I think he was on stage for 2 or 3 hours. Like that guy just goes and goes and goes, right? And you always forget they're only like a year apart in age, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Trump's up there for 2 or 3 hours doing his rally. And then gets kind of ambushed with the Ruth Bader Ginsburg stuff,
right?
Which was not bad. He's like, "Hey, I didn't know, man.
Right.
That's terrible to hear. She's a great person. We didn't agree politically, obviously, which is fine." And then jumps on the plane. And then you see, I don't know where Joe Biden was at. It looked like he was in the hallway of like a middle America home. Like there was this closet door in the background. There's a jar. I mean, it was just kind of wherever they could get him, right? And he's reading this half-prepared statement, and he reads it over like a couple of times. And you could just tell, you're like, man, this guy is like, it's not good. He's going to get 16 B12 shots and caffeine and all that for these debates.
He's going to look spry. Trust me.
He's going to look they're going to put him in the plunge pool before. And then
do a little caper.
Now, what's going to be funny is you're not going to hear from him for 2 days after that.
Or before.
Yeah, he's going to need a big nap before, a big one afterwards.
Well, I mean, so we're going to find out. We're going to find out if the mental capacity has slipped, because the guy was no dummy.
No, he's not stupid.
Right? He's not stupid. He knows the system. He's a career politician, respected by many, many people. So we're going to find out if there are diminishing capabilities in the guy running for president.
I've heard Ted Cruz talk about it, and he said, Joe's one of those guys. He comes in, career politician. Everybody likes him.
Right.
Super nice. Hey, how you doing? How's your family? Hey, he's like that guy, right?
Yep.
Kind of lights up a room, right? But he said, last couple of years, he said you can't tell that some things have changed for him. So we'll see how this all rolls out. So that'll be next week. So if anybody wants to do, Brian, you want to check, see if Poor Behavior can host us for the debates? Put it on the big screen there at Poor.
That'd be awesome.
Oh, I think it'd be great. Can't have it at my place isn't ready yet, so can't have it there. But I think
your place
not ready yet. But if I got the pool heater fixed, and then I got one of those, and then I got one of those inflatable screens that you could project
sure.
Maybe we should do it there. I don't know. Anyway, so we'll do it at. I was there again this weekend, and it's like the grass is taking over the neighborhood now. I'm like, oh boy, we got to get someone out here to cut this thing.
Yeah.
But and the backyard is just getting crazy. But anyway, so I think it's going to be really interesting to watch. It really is. And if they're able to work something out with Rogan, that will be
amazing.
It will probably be the most watched piece of content the entire year. I
don't need NPRs. I mean, I don't need them hosting another debate. There's no need for that. Nor do I need any of the guys on the mainstream media asking any questions.
Well, let's go back to you and I. I watched The Social Dilemma last night. If you guys have not seen it on Netflix, I got to tell you, me personally, it wasn't as revolutionary to me because I knew a lot of that stuff was already happening.
Sure. Yeah.
And I could see it in our Facebook stuff.
But they did a very good job of visualizing it.
That's it. Yeah.
Right. Just really relaying really dull, world-changing things.
Yes.
Into dynamics.
So probably it is a really – so The Social Dilemma is a documentary on social media and how they are taking advantage of our hindbrains. That's really what's going on there.
Yep.
And I highly recommend you guys watch it. It's really good. It's not real – I mean, there's sometimes it gets a little preachy, but it's pretty good, and it's done in such a way everybody can understand it. Like you could show it to your teenager and they're totally going to get it. You don't have to have a science background or anything like that. They had some very good people on there that worked in all different levels.
I will say those are
social media.
Bad parents, those two. Horrible parents.
Which one
just let that little girl just run rampant and take her phone and smash the thing?
Yeah, I don't know.
Are you kidding me?
I watched that whole
horrible parents.
So they do the Social Dilemma like they have actors that are playing out what's happening in an American home.
What do they call it now? A docudrama?
Like docudrama, yeah. So that kind of goes on, at the same time, while they have these experts talking about
Right.
like guys who used to run Facebook and Instagram and all that other stuff. So, and then they have this family. Yeah, first 5 minutes, that whole family situation, I'm like, what family is
What
this?
is that? What soccer horrible
This-
family is that?
This would never happen in my household. I'm like, I don't know what's going on here, but. And then my first thought was, the phone's not the problem in that family. They
No,
got
it's,
some
it's clearly the mom.
yeah, mom's got some problems.
Yeah, mom is just doesn't want to be a disciplinarian.
Yeah.
Wants to be everyone's best friend. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, it's give me that phone. You're not using it. It's that
Right.
simple.
Smash it. You know what I love? I watched after that I started watching YouTube videos
Yeah.
of parents smashing the PlayStation 4 or the
Oh,
Xbox,
that's awesome.
and the kids just going like complete
Going nuts.
meltdown. It's so funny.
That's great. You know, and then the whole time I'm watching that, it almost makes you feel like, am I on? And then I was sitting there and I'm like, am I on Facebook doing all this? And I'm like, no, I post my crazy stuff and leave. Like, I just don't.
Yeah, we're not affected by the notifications.
None of my notifications are on except for fantasy football. So,
The other thing so it's happening right now is every time I'm on Facebook, Facebook is asking me, "Are you registered to vote in Texas?"
yes.
I'm like, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Why do I need to tell you that?
That's right.
But so many people are just second nature now. We click the yes or no. We answer the question.
What app did I download where I keep getting hit with all of that stuff? Was it Uber? What? It was one of the apps. I just keep getting hit with, have you registered to vote? Have you registered to vote? And I'm like, this is crazy because we do know they can impact elections, right?
Yeah, that's what they found out. They impacted the midterm elections. Yep.
I don't know if I buy into the whole Russian thing because they kind of start weaving that into the show. And I'm like, I still don't. Here's what I don't understand about the Russian interference. The Clinton Foundation was on the payroll of some very influential folks in Russia, which you might as well say they were on the payroll for Clinton or for Putin. So why would they actively push Trump? That's the part I still don't get.
First of all, I do believe they did it. They definitely interfered. But I think it's. You don't watch still a lot of South Park, right?
No.
God, there's a great Professor Chaos. Right? It's this evil villain. It's Butter's alternate ego. And I just think of them as just a bunch of Russian nerds who think like they're having this great impact.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, we're going to look what we can do. Look at these simple Americans. And we're all like, man, we don't care about you, Russia.
Yeah.
We don't care.
Mm-mm.
We're America. We don't care about you guys. We don't care about anything outside our 50-mile radius.
That's right.
Right? If they're, man, I saw the In-N-Out out there. I'm like, oh, I'm going to have to start driving out here to In-N-Out. That's the only reason I never care about anything past the 99.
That's right, yeah.
I don't care anything beyond that, right?
Dude, there's an In-N-Out right here in Stafford.
Yeah,
It's even closer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
even closer, right? So I think this stuff is happening, and it doesn't mean anything.
Well, you know what's funny? After the election, they actually pulled the accounts, and they looked at how much was spent on Facebook. If you look at certain metrics, and it was like, you're telling me a couple $100,000 or about $1 million?
1.5% ad, right? And they're not even target marketing the right way, right?
No, they're not.
25 cents a click.
I
They're
don't-
not paying that, right?
That's why I was like, none of this stuff is making a whole lot of sense. Now, a lot of that,
I think it happened. I don't think it had any impact at all,
well, yeah, there's probably some truth to that.
right? Or no major impact.
Well, and it's kind of funny.
I'm sorry.
We had this conversation the other day. It was, are they trying to impact? Yes, but then we do the exact same thing.
Of course. Of course. Robert Jason here, Mr. Texas Real Estate.
It's a good one to learn.
Yeah. Well, you learn 4 guitars, 4 chords, you can play 60% of the song.
Yeah, that's what my brother's telling me.
G, C, A, E.
Yeah.
Boom. You can throw in a B or an F. You can play. If you can learn how to play a B and an F, you can do any 80s English pop song.
There you go. They have a British setting on all these amps. I thought that was funny. I wonder if it works on the microphone. Get a British setting on the microphone?
They have an American setting on their microphones. That's why they all sound like.
Why do English people always sing with an American accent?
Yeah.
Hey, American accent is sexy.
You
over
wouldn't
there.
understand anything the hell they were saying.
That's right. You heard Aussie? Aussie, I can't understand a word you're saying. You're the Prince of Darkness and you can't talk.
That was one of the things in the Go-Go movie. It's like this woman, one of the guitar player for the Go was on heroin. She was so out of control that she got kicked out of Ozzy Osbourne's dressing room.
Holy shit!
That's crazy.
Wow.
Yep. Wow.
Oh, so we get this crazy chick out here.
So where's In and Out?
Right here.
No, in Stafford.
Yeah, just keep going. Yeah, it's right there by
It's on 59 here.
it's across from it's on Airport across from where the Redneck Country Club used to be,
Oh, nice.
where the TI campus used to be.
Yeah.
It's right there
Nice.
next to Whiskey
in-
Cake.
Oh, next to Whiskey Cake.
Yeah, just go right down here. It's right over there.
I went by there the other day and I went, "Hey, Whiskey Cake." I didn't see you.
Yeah, there's an In-N-Out. It's they almost share a parking lot.
We'll be there.
Okay. No, very good. All right.
There we go. We'll do get us
In-N-Out
going.
and sushi.
We'll do Tesla guys.
This is the fourth segment.
Fourth or third?
Fourth.
Okay.
So future show, we'll do real estate guys driving Teslas, eating Whataburger and In-N-Out.
Oh.
We'll do the side by side in the back of a Tesla. There's not much more hipster than that.
Nope.
If we had
We
some
have
kind
to
of
wear
craft beer,
caps. Wear wool caps.
well, we'll wear beanies.
Beanies, yeah.
We'll tag Tim Pool in the video. Here we are eating In-N-Out versus this is Southern California, South Texas,
Yep.
millennial hipster nonsense.
Mhm.
Sitting in the back of a $100,000 Tesla.
Complete douchery. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll wear all black. You can wear a beanie. I'll wear one of those goofy, what do you call those hats? I don't know. I'll wear some other goofy thing with a turtleneck because it's 75 degrees. It's freezing here. So I have a turtleneck on in the back of Teslas.
I drove by. I was like, oh, maybe. But I already made an appointment, and I felt like I wanted to support the local business. But I drove by that In-N-Out, and I was tempted to make a right instead of making a left.
Quick little.
Anyway, that's a great movie. I think I keep thinking about this stuff in perspective of history.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember when gay marriage was going to ruin the country?
Yes.
Do you remember how crazy everyone got over that?
Yes.
Right? Now, trust me, alcohol ruins more marriage than gays, right?
Yes.
That was so crazy. Like, it was every day on the TV, and it was just like big rallies, and then like people were afraid to tell if you were for it or against it.
You know what I think's so funny about that? It was the very real fear, because I do believe this to be true. The very real fear of a lot of these housewives going, I don't know. Sometimes I wonder about Bob. My husband. Sometimes I just wonder if this thing passes. I seriously think that was the issue.
You think a lot of that? Yeah.
Oh, I think there's a lot. I'm not saying it's good or bad. I think there's a lot of that. I think there's a lot of dudes that are married that, the social pressures are get married and have kids, and they're just
for sure.
Yeah, they're just there. And
1,000%. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So you think that was the fear?
I think
I'm
that
gonna
was
lose
the fear.
my man to another man.
Yes. I think that's exactly what it was.
Yeah, I wasn't even nowhere thinking about that.
Uh-huh.
Wow.
That was exactly my thought.
Wow. I see it. Now,
I mean,
it makes perfect sense.
now you're like, oh, that meant, okay, now,
Yeah.
because why else would you be opposed to it?
No,
What are you scared of?
I don't know.
What's
It was
funny
crazy.
What's funny is it's like those couples are already ubiquitous in society.
Right.
So it's not like
It's been happening for hundreds of years.
it's just now it's just the legal, and look at the legal side of this. If they can get married, now you don't have all the family related issues like the will and probate,
Right.
hey, you're not your boyfriend, whatever you call it before, your couple, like one of the couples is in the hospital and they can't go see him. Well, I don't know, are you family?
Right,
You're
your
not
partner.
your partner. Yeah, it's all that nonsense, right? You get married, boom, problem solved.
Right.
So why
this
would
was
you?
going to tear apart the country.
Right, but so where's whenever I hear the world's going to end, I'm like, okay, what's the fear?
Right.
Where's the motivation for that to be true? Because your neighbor's gay and you don't care.
No.
So
right,
why
when
is
it
this
came-
all of a sudden going to tear the country down,
and
right?
Two things I believe. It was media and fundraising.
I get, yeah.
They create
yeah.
an issue, and then each side gets to
make money on
millions and
Yeah.
millions. Support or against, right?
It never made any sense to me because I'm like, you've had the gay couple 2 doors down from you that goes to a
course.
barbecue and hangs out for the
Yeah.
last 15 years. So why all of a sudden them getting married is a big? Are you going to be uncomfortable at the wedding?
No.
is 2 grooms on a cake really bad? I'm like, I just couldn't follow the logic. Like, why is it? And then I was like, you know what? I bet there's this fear out there. Like, where's the fear? And that was where I got the. I was like,
that was it. That's
I was like,
good thought.
that's the fear.
Nice.
You know, Bob's always a little, you know. I don't want to lose my husband to another dude.
Also, we could analyze a little deeper that you seem to be putting all the problems on women, right? So now women are going to have a problem with that statement.
Well, they'll get over it.
Well, welcome to the real estate show.
Yeah. Well, let me put it this way. I've seen several marriages end that way.
Got it. Yeah. Well,
I haven't seen many with the women that go. I've seen a lot with the guys that go.
I know there are a lot of churches that stress getting married very early and having babies.
I think down here in Texas, I think there's more of the guy stuff than there is the gals. I think that's really because I've seen that happen more often in the churches.
Right.
You know, Bob quote goes up. Actually, we were talking about this last week, weren't we?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So that's my thought. That was why I thought that. Anyway, so what else is going to tear the country apart? I think the social dilemma thing, and the movie actually, the documentary actually highlighted pretty well. It starts with terrible parenting.
Yes, it starts with terrible parenting. Yes.
If your kid has an addiction to the phone, you take the phone away.
Take the phone away, right.
Like.
Right. If the kid goes up and locks himself in the room and watches alt-right or alt-left crazy stuff, you got to have a conversation with the dude.
Yeah.
Hey, what the hell's going on, man?
Yeah, what are you doing?
What are you doing?
Now, what I thought was really interesting, and they only touched on it, was the Pizzagate thing.
That's a problem. That was a real
well,
thing.
So here's the even more real thing. The QAnon stuff.
Yeah.
And I told all these crazies on my Facebook, I said, guys, this is not real. It is not. I'm telling you, it's not real. And sure enough, what happened last week or the week before, it came out that it was like some dude who's a financial analyst at like Morgan who was trolling through 4chan. I kept telling everybody, I'm like, guys, this is a troll job through 4chan.
Yeah.
It's all, I'm at least of average intelligence. And when I'm reading through the Q drops, I'm like, I don't see a pattern here. Mm-hmm. People would tell me, oh, Jason, there's another Q drop today. And I get a Facebook message. Can you read the message? And I'm reading through this. And I'm like, I'm at least of average intelligence. And this is all gibberish. It makes no sense, guys. So, and of course, now they find out that's a complete hoax, right? So it's like, you know, my dad's always fond of saying, like, the real conspiracies are with one person. Because once they tell somebody else, it kind of comes out in the open.
Really quickly.
Very quickly.
Yeah, we can't keep a secret.
So this whole idea that Pizzagate and the QAnon stuff with Trump, it's all nonsense. Mud flood.
Well, I believe in the mud flood and the crab people.
The crab people.
I definitely believe that.
I'm going to Google the crab people. I'm not familiar with that one.
It's South Park.
Oh, that's funny. Should we make a page called Crab People?
Crab People.
Crab Persons? Oh, we could call it the Crustacean Alliance.
The Crustacean, yes.
And they're coming after you. The CA. Hey, have you guys heard about the CA? Speaking of which, we need, and Jillian brought this up, we do need to start writing the full script for how to become a senator for a state in which you do not live.
Yes, we got to get back to that.
We've got to get back to that. So we make fun of real estate gurus about their wild claims. So Rob and I did a little skit probably about not a year ago, probably 6 months ago.
Yeah, a year ago.
Yeah, maybe it was a year ago, before Corona, where we talked about how you too can become a senator for a state that you do not live in. All you need to do is buy my course for $9.97.
Yep.
You too can become a senator. I'll give you all the names of the donors. By the way, that's public information. It's not that hard to get. So I'll give you the names of all the donors if you sign up for my coaching program and the scripts you got to use and all that.
Now you might be asking why I'm not a senator. Well, that's not my purpose.
Well, my
purpose in life is to help people.
Help people become senators.
I want to help people reach their full potential.
Yes.
And the U.S. Senate is where we're working these days.
Yeah, and it's really easy to do, despite the fact that it's the most powerful, deliberative body on the planet. You too, who just barely finished high school, could become a senator. Anyway, it's all ridiculous.
We also did the brain surgeon, remember?
Oh, we'll do the brain surgeon. 3 easy courses.
You know what's even worse than real estate gurus?
What's that?
These Amazon resale gurus.
Oh, the drop shipping guys?
Drop shipping guys.
Yeah.
Horrible. Oh my God.
I'm in a men's community on Facebook, and every now and then some guy steps in and it's like, hey man, so I'm thinking about it's a good mix of like entrepreneurs, older guys, but you get these younger guys that pop in from time to time. hey man, I got like $1,000. I'm trying to build this $1 billion drop shipping empire, and everyone's like, dude,
No way.
just finish high school and we'll help you out with something else.
Hey, thanks for listening tonight. We'll be back. That's it, right?
That was it. But you didn't make any predictions on Battery Day.
We did.
Oh,
That's how we started
You
the
did
show.
one thing.
We'll do it tonight on our million-mile battery.
No, cool colors.
You did the color.
Did cool colors.
Under 100,000, under $100.
My,
See you guys.
My wife's cousin